Welcome back to Skytech-Lens. A storm is gathering over the American car industry, threatening to reshape the nation's roads and rattle its economy. At the center, Toyota and Honda, warning they may reconsider their future in the US amid a fierce trade battle with Japan, led by the Trump administration. Decades of partnership and billions in investment are at risk as steep tariffs on imported cars and parts trigger a chain reaction. For millions of Americans, Toyota and Honda mean reliability and value. But now that familiarity is threatened. President Trump argues Japan's trade practices are unfair, citing the imbalance in car sales between the two countries. His Liberation Day initiative aims to rebalance this through aggressive tariffs. But Japanese automakers stress their deep integration in the US economy. Their potential departure would leave a void that's hard to fill, impacting workers, small businesses, and America's shift to greener vehicles. The warnings from Toyota and Honda are desperate cries from companies squeezed by rising costs and political standoffs. The decisions made now will determine the fate of an industry that's a cornerstone of American life. To grasp the crisis, you need to understand Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, a law letting the president impose tariffs on imports deemed a national security threat. Historically used for steel and aluminum, it's now controversially applied to cars. The Trump administration claims foreign-made vehicles weaken America's industrial base, justifying steep tariffs. Initially, a 25% tariff on all Japanese auto imports was threatened, on top of an existing 10%, potentially raising the total to 35%. After tense negotiations, a deal to lower the rate to 15% was announced, but it remains unimplemented, leaving the industry in limbo. Even at 15%, the tax burden is 6 times higher than at the year's start. A separate 25% tariff on imported auto parts, including engines and EV batteries, is already in effect, disrupting supply chains and raising costs for all automakers. The goal: force more production and R&D onto US soil. Critics argue this ignores the complexity of modern manufacturing. Retooling factories and supply chains takes years. In the meantime, the tariffs act as a direct tax on production, with costs passed to businesses and consumers. For Toyota and Honda, the US isn't just another market, it's the cornerstone of their global operations. Japanese automakers hold 44% of the US light vehicle market, selling over 6 million vehicles and generating $170 billion in revenue in 2023. Their factories span the American heartland, employing thousands and supporting local economies. The threat of a US exit is seismic, with financial strain already visible. Toyota cut its profit forecast by 16%, and Honda faces mounting uncertainty. Japanese auto stocks have dropped over 21% year-on-year. In 2023, Japanese automakers assembled nearly 3.4 million vehicles in the US, products of American labor and parts. Plants like Toyota's in Kentucky and Honda's in Ohio are models of foreign investment now under threat. Tariffs on parts penalize the very integration once praised, forcing tough choices: absorb costs, raise prices, or scale back US operations. Scaling back, once unthinkable, is now a real possibility. The cost of doing business in America may soon outweigh the benefits, signaling a painful retreat. The implications reach far beyond boardrooms, impacting workers, communities, and the future of the US auto industry. The warning is clear: the partnership that built America's car landscape is at risk of unraveling. The next moves will shape the industry for years to come. The real cost of this trade war is measured in American jobs and livelihoods. Japanese automakers support over 500,000 US jobs, including nearly 100,000 in manufacturing plants across states like Alabama and Kentucky. For every factory job, several more are created in the local economy: suppliers, restaurants, shops. In some states, these companies are the largest employers, accounting for up to 22% of factory jobs. Downsizing or closures could spike regional unemployment and devastate communities, echoing the decline of the Rust Belt. The irony: tariffs meant to protect American jobs now threaten them. Workers in places like Georgetown, Kentucky see themselves as American, building cars for American families. Their futures now hang on the outcome of a trade dispute far beyond their control. For American families, the impact of this trade war hits hardest at the car dealership. Tariffs on vehicles and parts act as a tax, raising prices for everyone. A 25% tariff could increase the average new car price by $4,400. affecting not just Japanese cars, but all brands as competition shrinks. Toyota has already raised prices slightly, but bigger hikes could make new cars unaffordable for many. This would chill the auto market, hurt local dealerships, and ripple through the economy. Higher car prices could fuel broader inflation, reducing consumer confidence and spending. The Federal Reserve's job gets harder, and the American car buyer pays the price. The dream of owning a new, reliable car grows more distant, a direct result of trade policy. The trade war threatens America's shift to cleaner vehicles. Japanese brands, especially Toyota, lead the hybrid market. 3 out of 5 hybrids sold in the US are Japanese. Tariffs could add $4,400 to the price of new hybrids, making them unaffordable for many and slowing green adoption. Buyers may turn to older, less efficient used cars or bigger gas guzzlers, increasing emissions and fuel use. The move toward a sustainable fleet could stall or even reverse. American automakers are ramping up EVs, but new production lines take years. If affordable hybrids disappear before domestic EVs are ready, the green transition falters. Tariffs meant to boost U.S. industry could sabotage America's environmental goals. The numbers reveal the true scale of the crisis. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that having Japanese automaker output in the U.S. could slash federal tax revenues by $62 billion over 3 years. Ford alone lost $800 million to tariffs in 1 quarter and faces a $2 billion annual loss. Tariffs aimed at Japan are hurting American companies reliant on global supply chains. Financial markets in Japan have reacted with alarm, with auto sector profits plummeting. The policy is destabilizing markets on both sides of the Pacific. Lost revenue means less funding for public services and innovation. The numbers tell a story of economic self-harm, not revitalization. The US-Japan auto partnership's value, and the cost of its unraveling, has never been clearer. The visible factories are just the tip of a vast, intricate supply chain. Thousands of American small and medium businesses supply parts to Japanese automakers, employing nearly 200,000 workers. Many have invested heavily to meet Japanese standards. Now, their jobs are at risk. If Toyota and Honda scale back, supplier orders dry up, leading to layoffs and bankruptcies. These suppliers can't easily pivot, their processes are highly specialized. Retooling takes years and major investment. Many small businesses can't survive the transition. The tariffs expose a critical vulnerability. America's industrial base is deeply interconnected and fragile. Disruption sends shockwaves through the system, hurting the very fabric the policy claims to protect. The ripple effect could leave lasting scars on U.S. manufacturing. As the trade battle rages, the future of Japanese automakers in America is uncertain. Warnings of a U.S. exit have turned a trade dispute into an existential crisis, exposing deep economic interdependence. Car prices may rise, jobs are at risk, and progress toward greener vehicles could stall. Can diplomacy avert disaster, or will protectionism prevail despite mounting evidence of economic harm? For consumers and workers, the stakes are enormous: higher prices, fewer choices, and threatened livelihoods. The crisis forces a reckoning. What does it mean to be an American car in a globalized world? The choices made now will shape American industry for decades to come. Thanks for watching a video and subscribe the channel now for more updates. Thanks.